Well, I can't believe it. Wow. It is Mondays in the meditation room with Dr. K from Midlife Musings. Once again, I'm so excited to be back with you after my month of respite, vacation, downtime, quiet time, whatever you want to call it, time, me time. Yeah, it was so necessary. It was so needed, and I was so um, grateful for the privilege and the opportunity to be able to take a break. But we are back, and I'm so excited. So, welcome back to Mondays in the Meditation Room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings. This is sacred space and place and tribe and sisterhood for all things enlightenment and empowerment for Black women in midlife. Man, we have the most amazing conversations about midlife, about perimenopause, about menopause, about midlife transitions, about coming into your own, coming into yourself. And you do that by taking the journey back to yourself, remembering who you are and doing it unapologetically. And so, welcome to the room. I had to make some changes. I want to do more with less, focus my energy so that there's optimal output as we continue to grow. So we are broadcasting right now only to our YouTube channel. So if you are watching the replay, if you're watching live or you're watching the replay, I hope you will subscribe. That's my ask of you tonight, that you would subscribe, share the videos, go through and see some of the old videos, watch them. They will encourage you. Go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll know whenever we're live or whenever we drop a new live video. So, thank you for joining us on tonight at 8 for Mondays in the meditation room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings. I don't know about you, but I believe we need this community. We need this opportunity for women to have the conversation and not feel isolated and not feel alone, not feel like you're the only one. I just got to take a moment and breathe, because I also love listening to Mondays in the Meditation Room theme music. It is something that just puts me in the flow, put me in the groove. That Mondays in the Meditation Room theme song, just so chill. All right, so welcome. If you are just joining us, welcome back to Mondays in the Meditation Room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings. I call it my meditation room because this is literally my meditation room. For those of you who may be new or you might remember, this used to be my son's room. And when he got grown and moved out, I told him, I was like, dude, I'm going to take over your room, turn it into my meditation room where I go. This is my space. This is my quiet sanctuary where I literally do that. Spend time with God, meditate, breathe, work out here. And it's just my quiet space. And I fill it with scents, right? And things that remind me that this is my centering, grounding place. So when we meet, we are right here in the meditation room. A for midlife musings. Now, let's talk about that whole thing about midlife. I don't know about you, but some persons have told me that as well, that nobody really talked to them about midlife. They just flow in it. The most that they've heard about midlife is the change, right? That's it. Or you may notice some different behavior around the women in your life, or maybe it's just you and your friends, or you and you thought you were losing your mind, right? Short fuse, hot flashes, insomnia, digestive issues, aches and pains here and there, even struggling with depression and anxiety, questioning everything, mad at everybody, right? Just looking back over your life, feeling frustrated, even some regrets, straining in relationships. And that's just the beginning. And we need to know that that is a normal rite of passage that our bodies, our minds, and our spirits are going to, but it's trying to transition us into another place as women, a place of greater assurity, greater confidence, right? Greater courage. Some of us get to this point and we just speak our mind, don't have too much of a filter anymore. And but I need you to know that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you, because sometimes some women end up going to doctors or even therapists, and you're trying to explain to them what you're going through, because they are not well versed or trained or taught about women's bodies when they're going through menopause, because it absolutely is a whole body experience. It's your mind, it's your body, it's your spirit, it's all of it together, going through that all at the same time. And so sometimes, well, not sometimes, I want to say the majority of the times, doctors don't know how to acknowledge it with you, that it's not just in your head, right? To say that you absolutely are going through something real, and really walk through with you in ways that you can manage it. You really ought to surrender to it and get to know your body, because we're not taught to be in tune with our bodies. And sometimes women are even taught to dislike and disdain our bodies. So, how are you going to flow with that when your body's going through that change if you don't even like your body, right? So, you have to come to love your body and treat your body well, right? And especially during this season. So find some books. There are books now. Here's the thing. Now, over the last, I want to say 2 to 3 years, women are starting to talk freely about midlife, menopause, perimenopause. And the truth of the matter is, most of us are still in perimenopause, which is the season prior to menopause, because menopause really only lasts 1 year. It's that year where you have no cycle, your menses has stopped, not going off and coming back on, when you're literally, when you have not had a cycle for an entire year, then you are absolutely in menopause, right? And sometimes you have to find even a new GYN that will help you um, handle your hormones that are shifting when your estrogen drops. Oh, what about dry, brittle hair, thinning hair, dry, brittle skin, the whole 9 yards? And if we can help it, it would be great to find a doctor who is an integrative medicine doctor, a doctor who is working with you, your doctors, in case you really do have some issues or chronic issues that you're taking care of, but a way to help you mitigate those things. You need a nutritionist, right? Somebody that is well versed in hormones, women's hormones, and how to treat them, and what we should be eating, drinking water, moving our bodies. It's a whole life kind of thing integrated, so that you can be the healthiest you can be and experience the most abundant season that we can during midlife. Because I'm telling you, things fall away, you let go of some things, you break up with some things, you begin to change your thought, you begin to prioritize yourself. And sometimes it's hard because life lifes us, right? Our spouses may be going through things, our adult children, our grandchildren, if you have grandchildren, even if you have children, Or you might be in the season where you're caregiving for a parent or both parents, or another family member. And so you're going through all of that all at the same time. Welcome to the meditation room, because this is the place where we get to have those conversations, bring guests on that help us with those different scenarios that we might find ourselves in midlife. But more than that, to rediscover the joy of being you. Before, as we're starting again, after being out for the month of August, I wanted to just have some conversations for the rest of September. Then we're going to start bringing in some amazing guests to talk to us about some of those very things that we were talking about. You know, our sexuality, our some women's libido kind of goes from here to here to absolutely look nothing, and how we can manage that, all of that happening at the same time. And if you are married, or you have a partner, a boo, something that's with you, um, can I tell you that they absolutely are, if they are male, they are absolutely also going through andropause. And I guess theirs might be called andropause, where their bodies and their minds, their spirits going through this same season of midlife. And we often, we know that men have quote unquote midlife crises when you see them behaving, trying to relive their yesteryears and recapture their virility and whole 9 yards. And because they don't have anyone to talk to, sometimes they make unwise decisions about their lives, and then regret some of the decisions that they've made. And so sometimes you're not just dealing with yourself, you're dealing with a spouse or a partner, you're dealing with aging parents, you're dealing with adult children who may not be fully independent. You may be dealing with grandchildren and the whole 9 yards. But can I tell you, how you think about a thing determines how that thing impacts your life. So, here in the meditation room, or any event that Enlightened Woman does, it is from the vantage point of redefining midlife, not just as a crisis, but an opportunity for rebirth, to reimagine your life, to redefine your life, right? To start beginning that journey back home to yourself. Oh, I absolutely just love just the thought of that. That doesn't mean we're not going through anything, we're not challenged mentally and emotionally, but we want to make a choice as a tribe, as a sisterhood, as a community, to encourage and support one another, so that we can look at things. If we need to get a therapist, right? Get the help you need, get some talk therapy, talk through some things that you might still be holding on to, that you need to release and let go, right? Because this is the season that we want to begin to travel light. We want to simplify our life. And sometimes the burdens that we feel is the shoulds, right? When we think we should do something, or somebody tell us we should do something, or we're living somebody's idea of who we should be, right? We want to get rid of the shoulds, right? And begin to live authentically and organically, so that the thoughts that we're thinking, the decisions we're making, right, for good or for bad, are because it's what we want, what's most important to us, and create significance and meaning in our lives. Because that's the thing. At this point, you don't want to do things because you want to please people, or you're trying to get people to approve of you or affirm you. At this point, you want to have a life of significance and meaning, something that is born out of your passion for life, right? So that you can leave a legacy to the next generation, that was something that you absolutely felt fire for, right? This is the season where many people are prepared, many women are making transitions in their careers to something that is not as hectic, not as trying, not as soul depleting, into something that is meaningful. It's also the season that sometimes we need to get help financially as we prepare to shift. And sometimes, the truth be told, we're literally just beginning to focus on our finances, building, um, learning how to build wealth or get out of debt and trying to catch up based on putting everybody else first financially or just being ignorant and not knowing what to do. And so this is the season, and I believe that God is absolutely well able to redeem the time. I'm in that place even right now. So I'm with you, just trying to learn, right? And sometimes it can be overwhelming to the point of inertia where we just get stuck and we stop because it feels so overwhelming to have to learn to do something new, to have to pivot, right? Maybe you are going to follow that whole entrepreneurial uh, place and space, and you want to start a business, but it can be so frightening and overwhelming because you don't know what to do. But there's help out there. Whether you Google it, YouTube it, start asking questions around, you'd be surprised that somebody you know somebody that you know that has some answers that can help you. Absolutely, don't make yourself sick and stressed and worried because you think you should know. Why should you know if it's something you've never done? If things have changed so much, we have to be willing to learn, maybe even take some classes at Prince George's Community College. Did I tell you that I found out that at Prince George's Community College, if you 60 and over, they don't charge you tuition. You might have to pay some fees, some book fees or something like that. I read that, and I'm praying that it's true. I just read it and said I was going to go back to it. Go ahead, look it up and research it for yourself, right? Or that embrace all of the discounts that you can get for 55 and over, right? Join AARP. I mean, wear the badge of maturity and becoming a sage, a wise woman proudly. That's what this season is all about, learning to celebrate it and not try to hide it, not wish you were this, that. You can feel as good as you want to feel based on how you think about yourself and the thoughts that you are thinking, the things that you're carrying, and what you are putting in your body and how you're taking care of yourself. So let's let this season be the most significant, special, amazing season of our lives as we rediscover the joy of being you. So let me take a moment and do a shameless plug even right now. If you have not purchased this book, The Enlightened Woman, Inspirations and Reflections to Rediscover the Joy of Being You in Midlife and Beyond, oh my gosh, you have to invest in yourself and get it. It is my story of hitting that brick wall, stepping into that place, going, what in the world is going on with me? Right. And it is talking about that journey that I took and that I believe we're all taking. And it will be so encouraging for you. You can get it on Amazon, or you can hit me up. Go to my website, kellybhayes.global. Email me, send me a message. I always keep a stash. I can get it to you, and even do a discount if you buy it through me. But it really talks about our journey, right? Of acknowledging that we are in midlife and realizing that things are happening to our body, mind, spirit, and soul, and how we can navigate that and what it's like, right? And but the whole goal is to come home to yourself. Oh man, to rediscover the joy of being you. And so, for our time together on tonight, we're going to talk about, this is just the introduction for the next few Mondays, the road to rediscovery. Because it's a journey, it's a road, y'all. It is a road trip. It is a journey back to yourself, back to trusting your own voice, trusting yourself not second guessing yourself anymore, always looking outside of you for the strength and the wisdom that resides on the inside of you. Nobody actually is more wise than you are when it comes to your own life and the journey that you are taking in this season in your life. And women have been taught to question themselves as if we are not intelligent or brilliant or genius, right? And you have, and I have, we have our own unique genius, especially as it comes to living our lives in a way that feels real and authentic and true to ourselves, right? So we have to be willing to take that journey. And sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it can be traumatic. Sometimes it can be triggering because we don't understand how much pain sometimes we have pushed down or tried to ignore or tried to gloss over, right? The masks we put on, the makeup we wear to hide our fear, um, feelings of inadequacy, that we're incapable, because there is a whole thought body, a whole mass consciousness on the globe that tries to make women feel less than, create a whole sense of shame or guilt. And especially if we want to pursue our goals, as if we always have to choose between healthy relationships, joyous relationships, sexually fulfilling relationships, and family, or being mothers or aunties, right? We always feel like we have to choose. uh, it's always either or, and we have not learned how to live in harmony with the both, and making choices that center our well-being, right? And this is the season where we begin to take the journey back to that place where we are centering our well-being and being unapologetic about being very careful with how we use our energy, because at this season in our lives we realize we don't have infinite energy. We have a certain amount of energy that's available, right? And you don't want to give all of your, or continue to give all of your energy out to other things and other people, and then have no energy for your own joy. And so when we talk about the road to rediscovery, that's really what it is, because so many women that I talk to feel like they've lost themselves. And we need to talk about what that means when we say we've lost ourselves, right? That we've chased so many carrots trying to find that perfect relationship or that perfect life, or be perfect or show up perfect, instead of embracing our flawed selves, because we are not perfect. Nobody is. And being perfect and that perfectionism is always mostly rooted in fear, right? And so we have to kind of uncover some things, just take the cover off and deal with what's driving us, so that we can get to a place where we're being inspired and not driven. Are we being driven by fear? Are we being driven by rejection? Are we being driven by the haunting of trauma and um, abuse, or experiences that left us depleted, but we didn't know how to get the healing that we needed to move forward? So, the road to rediscovery is certainly a road fraught with um, discomfort, uh, disequilibrium, because that is the whole other thing also about this season of midlife. So much is going on, you feel like you lost your footing, and you're kind of like trying to find your footing and find that grounding. Can I tell you, you are not alone, and that is absolutely normal. So, what does it mean to be on the road to rediscovery? It is to remember, it is to reflect on who you are, or who you said you wanted to be, or who you're becoming, who you're evolving to, and giving yourself permission to evolve, to change, to grow. And the truth is, in this season of rebirth in midlife, it is one of many seasons of rebirth as you continue to grow and acknowledge who you are, who you truly are, what brings you joy, what makes you laugh, what is it that you enjoy doing, uh, right? Getting to the depth of knowing who you are, right? That rediscovery is where you are and where we are in midlife. Giving yourself permission to get quiet. I just want to do that for a minute because sometimes we are uncomfortable in stillness. We think there's always has to be something being said, something being done. Noise has to always be going on. We don't want we are sometimes afraid of our own thoughts, or we're afraid to get still because feelings and emotions might begin to bubble up and we have to face them. Uh, but guess what? You are facing yourself. You are wrestling with yourself. It's not anybody else, what anybody else made you do. Now, I'm clear that there are some people that have hurt, not may have hurt you or disappointed you, um, but they don't have the last word and say on how you heal and how you manage whatever they've done to you, because you don't want to give anybody else outside of you that kind of power. You acknowledge the pain, you acknowledge the hurt, and then you and I have the responsibility of how we respond to it, what we're going to do with it, right? If we're going to allow that to stay in our head, or if we're going to look at it for what it is, make some choices about it, and then move forward. Because that is the toughest thing, is when we feel like we need to let memory go, or even let pain and disappointment go, because we've been holding it for so long that it has become a part of our identity. So we have to, in midlife, begin to, or I want to invite you to begin to look at yourself and determine, what are you basing your identity on, who you are, who you see yourself as. Are you basing it just on your relationships or your accomplishments, or who you are physically, uh, where you live, what you have, who you're attached to? Where is your identity coming from? And man, on this road to rediscovery, we're rediscovering who we really are, who we identify as. What do we say about our own self? We're quick to be able to describe somebody else, say who they are, what kind of person they are. And then when it comes to trying to describe or identify our own self, we can't even come up with the right adjectives or words because we've lost touch with ourselves. Mm. And so, where on this road of rediscover, we're discovering our identity. Who are we? When you say your name, who are you? When I say Kelly, who am I? How would I describe myself? And I'm learning that I am really a deep thinker, but I love to have fun. I love to research. I love to know. I love to read, right? And I'm coming to accept all of who I am, uh, my ups and downs and my emotions, and feeling how I feel and being okay to feel how I feel, and then feeling something different tomorrow and being okay with that. Learning how to affirm and accept myself as I am, being kind to myself, speaking kindly to myself. Oh man, that's one of the things I love by the artist Tony Jones. She has a song called "Talk to Me Nicely." How are you talking to yourself? How are you loving yourself? All of this is on the road to rediscovery. And guess what? It takes time. Be patient, compassionate, and kind with yourself as you are on this road to rediscovery, right? And so the first thing you want to do is rediscover your identity, who you are. Where does your identity lie? Are you Have you become something you're not because you think that's who you should be, or you've been conditioned to be something you're not, something that you don't feel at home in your own skin being? Because you hear that voice back there, that voice in your head saying, this is not you, or this is no longer you. And it's okay to change. It's okay to evolve. It's okay to create boundaries so that you can keep your peace, so that you can stay healthy, so you can have peace of mind. Uh, Rediscover your identity. So have a conversation with yourself. Say, who am I? What is important to me? What do I love? What do I want out of life in this season? And it may not have been what you wanted yesterday or when you were younger. You get to shift and change. Give yourself permission. You don't have to get permission from anybody else to rediscover yourself. Woo! Hey, man, y'all. I love this time of conversation. And I'm asking that you will subscribe if you're just joining today. Leave me some comments on the YouTube channel, as I am in the learning curve of growing this YouTube channel and um, getting help in making it a destination place where you can come and find what we say, all things enlightenment and empowerment for Black women in midlife. So share, tell your sister friends about it. Let's join this community. And I'm looking forward to 2023. This year, 2022, Spirit had me shut down. I usually have events. Man, my serenity experience for women in midlife, well worthy and wealthy. Oh, I love it. Spirit's like, no activities, no events. You need to focus on your wellness. Woo! I can't wait to share what this year has taught me about myself as we look forward to getting back to our gatherings and our events for some fun, just fun, loving on ourselves and each other events that's perfectly, uniquely curated for Black women in midlife. I'm looking forward to it. So come back often, look for opportunities for us to share. Visit me on my Facebook page as well, the Enlightened Woman. And let's make this the most stupendous, fantabulous, oh gosh, enlightening, empowering season of our lives. Whew. Come on, y'all. Let's rediscover the joy of being us in this season and beyond. I absolutely love you. Thank you for joining me, whether you're watching live right now or you're watching the replay. Thank you for joining me. You're always welcome in the room, in the meditation room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings. And come on back and leave me some notes of some topics and some things you want us to discover, right? Or discuss and talk about on the road to rediscover the best you as you allow yourself to walk in your own authenticity and live organic, awake, aware, alive, and authentic. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Have a peaceful evening, and we'll see you again Mondays in the meditation room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings. Love you. See you soon.